Day two in York, I woke up early. I had to leave that day, so Alex and I just hung out for a little bit. And the one thing on the schedule for the day was to get fudge before I had to leave. So we woke up and went to the cafeteria and got some food at their really, really nice cafeteria for breakfast. And the girl that was staying with Alex besides me had already left like really early in the morning to get a train back to France, I guess, or I mean train in bus or flight. I don't really know, but anyway, um, so we were eating. I met one of Alex's friends who I think she's American. She's dating from Prague, so she was actually leaving for Prague that day. So that was kind of cool. So we talked about the Czech Republic and like crowns and everything. So then we left to go get this fudge, which is like everyone I had met there was like, "Have you gotten fudge yet?" And I was like, "No." So we went to this place, and one of the guys who works there, though, like I think he must be like world famous now because everyone who goes there talks about him. So we went in, and he's like just this crazy eccentric, like mid 20-year-old guy. He's just crazy. So he was like singing and like trying to. He had like a plate of fudge that he was like offering to people, and he was like pushing it like at the window. And it was like he told us that he was fishing for people to come in. So he realized that we were American and was like, "Oh, I collect Americans," and we're like, "Ah," and he was like, I mean, not in my basement or anything. So he like pulled out this map of America of like all the states, and he had stickers with it. And he was like, "Where are you from?" I was like, "I'm from California." He's like, "Oh, I already have California," and so I was like, "Oh, come on, you can just put a sticker there anyway. Just put two." And he was like, I can't do it." So I was like, "All right, I'm just gonna have to like cry myself to sleep tonight." And he was like, "Fine, fine." So he put my sticker over the other person from California's sticker, and he didn't have anyone from Texas yet, so he got Alex. Um, so he was just really cool and crazy. So we were talking for a while, and he was saying how he broke his wrist the night before because he was like piggybacking on someone drunk, of course. Um, so we were like talking for a while, and then we left, and Alex and I went back to that market, the like green market, because she hadn't been there yet. Um, and I got these little finger puppets for Allison and Jared, which were pretty sweet. I probably should have gotten them for people at home. I don't know why that didn't like cross my mind, but um, so I got that for them, and then I ended up getting some Turkish delight, like homemade Turkish delight, which was really good. Um, but it was, what did I get? I got like rose, mint, and strawberry, which was so good. So I went to the bus station, or what I thought would be the bus station. There's a train station and buses that drop people off there, which is where I got dropped off before. So Alex left me there, and oh no, actually we went back to York St. John, and then I got a taxi there, um, and asked the taxi driver if he knew how to get bus tickets because I didn't have one. So I was like, well, they probably sell them at the train station because that's like where they sell tickets. So I went there and looking around, and I was like really close to missing the train. I was freaking out because I didn't want to get back too late. So because I was going back to London. Um, so I got to this bus stop. I like asked a bus driver like how I get to London, um, or no, how I get to Leeds, to get to this train station or to get to this bus station to get back to London. So I asked him that, and he told me where the bus stop was, but I didn't really think about like asking him how to buy tickets, I guess. So I went to the other side of the street and started asking people like, "Hey, how do I buy tickets? Like, what do I do?" And they're like, "Oh, you can buy it on the bus." And I was like, "Sweet." So I got on, um, paid for my ticket, and like got to Leeds. So that was good. So I had like a little bit of time left before I left for London. So I um, wait, maybe that was on my way to London. I don't know if I told that part. I'll have to look at the videos again because now I'm starting to get fuzzy. But I don't remember about the, yeah, no, the Indian food where the guy kicked me off because I had Indian food with me. That was the day before. I don't know if I mentioned that on the other videos, but yeah, this jerk kicked me off of the bus. Anyway, so I got back to this place, and I was just in time for the bus. So I went up, got a ticket, and they were like, "Oh wait, just kidding. Like, this bus is completely sold out. Like, you're screwed. So you have to wait like 3 hours um, until I think it was like 7 until I could get there. So I would get to my hostel at like 11, which is when there would be no reception people. So I was like kind of freaking out. And they're like, well, you can try and be a standby and see if like people don't show up, then you can take their spots. I was like, sweet, I'll do that. So I waited for a little bit, and I did get standby, which was wonderful. So um, I got back to London at like 7, and since I knew the subway system, then it was like pretty easy to get like from the bus stop to um, like a stop near me, I guess. And then I asked one of the like information people on the train stop where the hostel was, and I don't think he spoke English very well. And what English he did speak, he spoke with a really strong accent, so I like could not understand him. Um, but he told me to go like down the street, like a really far way. So I like walked there, and I was so tired, and I was supposed to meet up with a friend. So I was like, I just want to get to my hostel and drop off my stuff and like go do something on my last day here. Um, so I walked like probably a mile up this street and then like down another street, and it was completely dark. And I was trying to figure out the map that I had. Um, and then I was just like looking really confused on this corner. And then this old man walked up and I was like, "Do you need help?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm trying to find this hostel." And he like pointed to this building across the street and he was like, "Well, that used to be a hostel like 5 years ago. Now it's like just an abandoned building." And I was like, "Oh, great." So I like looked at the stop on my of like what they said, like the area that the hostel said they were located in. So I like figured out what I was actually supposed to do, which means like if I just listened to myself instead of taking someone else's directions, I would have been fine. So good to know now that I'm like actually slightly self sufficient, which is kind of funny. Um, so I like went back to the train stop, got on the right train, and then got to my hostel, which was like around the block from me, which was or like around the block from the stop, which was perfect. So I dropped off my stuff, and got yelled at for not having my card signed, which he like eventually was just like it was like the third time that day that I had been stopped for not having my card signed, and I like just don't have a pen that works to write on it. I was like, I don't have any options. Like I would sign it right now if I could, but I don't have a pen, and like none of their pens worked either. So it was whatever. And I was just so tired by that time. So I I got into this hostel as London backpackers, and like went up to the steps, went up to my room, and on the way there were a bunch of like weird paintings. Like there were like Disney cartoons on the wall saying like which way you went to your room. I was like, all right, that's kind of weird, but whatever. So I got in, and the first painting on the wall was a kiwi bird farting, and it said "Nature Calls" was like the caption. I was like, this is really weird. I'm uncomfortable. So I like kept walking, and all in the corridors there were paintings of stereotypes from different cultures, like really offensive stereotypes. And I was like, how does anyone think this is appropriate? Like there was a dumb blonde joke next to this painting of like a blonde who was carrying an American backpack, and I was like, I'm actually offended by this. Like, I I can't believe you're so like. It just blew my mind. I was like, I don't think this is just me that finds this really offensive. So I dropped my stuff off, and then um, left to go meet my friend in a bar. Um, oh no, like at this other stop. So we like met at the stop, and he just got off of work. Um, and so he and his friend and we all went out to this bar and we are gonna sit down, but it was like too crowded. So we had a few drinks and then went to another like bar restaurant, got some nachos, hung out there and just talked for a while. Um, and then luckily I was talking to them because I didn't know that the train started or stopped at midnight, and my flight left at um, 6 in the morning. So I was planning on getting to the airport by 3, by 4, which means I needed to leave on a bus by 3, but I needed to get to the bus like a little before that. So I was thinking of leaving my house at like 2:30, which would have been an awful idea because I would have had to take a taxi basically like across town. Um, so my friend from London, who I met on Halloween, he was like, "All right, you need to get to this place by midnight," and like he just helped me do everything, which was wonderful. So we went back to the hostel to pick up my stuff. I didn't even end up staying there the night. I just like basically dropped my stuff off for a few hours, which was like okay because the storage in King's Cross was like £16 and then the hostel was like £11, so it was cheaper anyway. But it was kind of, I don't know, it was weird. But so he came in with me and he was like, "Wow, these really are offensive." So I was like, "All right, at least it's not me. It's not just me." So he dropped me off um, at this train stop. And it was like midnight then, and then he left because he had to get back home. And I ended up being at this bus stop with this really cool lady who was, she was, oh, what was it? She was from Spain, but she had been living in England for a while, in London mostly. And so we were talking for a little bit. And she asked me what I was studying. I was like, art museum studies, and she's like, "Oh, I do art as well." I was like, "That's cool." So we were talking about that for a while, and we just got into some like really amazing discussions about like performance art, especially. And she had just been working in a museum, like she did a performance piece in a museum. We were talking about like the pros and cons of like museums and how a lot of the times they're corrupt and whatnot. But she was really cool to talk to, and like I kind of wish I got her name or her email or something because I don't know. She was really interesting. So she was going back to Spain. I think it was Spain. Um, and then I got on a bus at like a little after midnight. Um, After also freaking out, I like called the bus company to be like, "I don't have a ticket for this. Is it possible to like buy it on the train?" And they were like, "Yeah, it's completely fine." So it was just really lucky, I guess. Um, yeah, I had a lot of like really good luck and a lot of really bad luck throughout the whole trip. Um, but so that was the second day of York slash London when I was going back. Um, and yeah, and then I guess I'll talk about the very end, the next one.